Right, hello everybody. Anybody who's watched this channel for a little while will recognise this particular setup as being slightly more traditional than my recent attempts, and this is really for practical reasons because these are all very beautiful, dainty little figures which arrived in my parcel last week, and I want to do them justice. And also, the other practical reason is that unfortunately my tripod is no more and I've not yet been able to source a new one. So I thought I'd have a look at all these little Kaiyodos here on camera with you from this perspective, so at least you don't have to look at me for a change. I'm just going to grab these at random. Okay, so the first one I have in this bag appears to be an ankylosaurid. I'm going to pop this out here. These are all beautifully packed. I also apologise for the way my camera is behaving. That is something, I don't know why it does it, and nor do I know how to stop it. So this is some sort of dynamic mode. I've had this phone about a year and I still don't know how it works. So Kaiyodo miniatures tend to come in several parts. This little ankylosaurid here is no exception, so it comes with a base and the tail is separate as well, so we'll pop that in. Should be easier than popping the tail in the beast of the Mesozoic dinosaur. There we go. And what an absolutely glorious little figure this is. So even though it's tiny, I mean these really aren't much larger than the figure you'd get out of a Kinder Surprise. It's got a spectacular amount of detail, made from a really firm plastic. The paintwork on these is really durable. As you can see in close up here, there is a phenomenal amount of detail on this tiny dinosaur, down to the skin on the thighs being slightly warty, that skin between the plates, and then down to this very soft looking underbelly. So you really get this odd juxtaposition of ankylosaurids of very hard spiky outer parts and the less so on the underside. Let's see if I can fit it on its base. This is always a nice touch with Kaiyodo figures, makes them look a little bit like a tiny museum piece. In fact, this one even has its name, and this is Zuul crurivastator. This is that dinosaur which is the destroyer of shins. Absolutely gorgeous little figure. Fantastic. Let's see who we have next. Let's pop that one on there. Okay. This bag looks like it contains a Tyrannosaur. Tyrannosaurus Rex, of course, being quite ubiquitous. Although it's not my favourite dinosaur, it certainly is my second favourite dinosaur. And I've got more figures of Tyrannosaurus Rex than anything else. Again, push fit for the tail. Now that is an absolutely stunning little figure. See how minute the eye is here and how well painted that is. You can see it's orange with a black pupil, and it's so neat. And you can see I've got that binocular vision there. The inside of the mouth is detailed and painted. This tiny little figure is absolutely glorious. There's so much detailing in that skin. Little foot pegs to fit it onto the base here. These really are extremely impressive for what they are. Oh, and there's a name pill on this one as well. There he is, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Lots of different colours and tones thrown in here despite the size of the figure. Absolutely amazing stuff from Kaiyodo. Right, who do we have next? Now this one I think is the Megaraptor figure. Let's see if I just get the light on it correctly there. Don't know a lot about the Megaraptor today. In fact, not many people do know a lot about the Megaraptor today. They're not massively well known. They're known from what was the southern part of the world and still is during the Cretaceous. And it's not even known what their affiliations were. It's suspected that they might be a sister group of the Tyrannosaurids. Of course, we've got this huge, great big thumb claw on here. This is another spectacularly detailed figure for the size of it. This is a tripod-related injury right here. So you have to see that on camera. Again, detail on the inside of the mouth. Different colour tones in there. This one appears to have very finely sculpted filaments running down the back. And even a little tuft at the end of the tail here. You see the musculature and the body of this. Absolutely spectacular. I mean, this is the thing with the Kaiyodo figures. They're like tiny museum pieces. Very, very well executed figures. Mape macrothorax. Of course, this one was quite recently named. Is it Mape or is it Mipe? I'm never entirely sure how that's pronounced. That's another stunning figure. Now here, this is Thylacosmilus. This looks like a saber-toothed cat, but it's not. This is the saber-tooth marsupial, and is a perfect example of convergent evolution. Again, it's in bits. A little bit of assembly required here. Interesting that the underside of the base on this one is silver. Nice rock detail on there, on the base for your Thylacosmilus to stand on. Again, a little push fit tail. Make sure I push this, fit this on the right way around. There we go. And look at that. You really get the sense of, you know, a sort of sleek predatory animal here. You can even see the fur detail on the underside. You get a fantastic sense of movement with this, even though it's so tiny. You can see quite clearly that it's not a saber-toothed cat when you look at the shape of the head here. And of course it's got these big sort of sheaths in the chin, these big dagger-like sheaths in the chin. Beautifully painted jaws. Of course, it hasn't quite got the binocular vision of a big cat either. It's even teeth painted in these tiny jaws. That's absolutely spectacular. Of course, you've got these big marsupial feet instead of the feet like a cat. All the pads on the paws are painted. What an absolutely spectacular figure. It's quite often Kaiyodo figures, for all their size, are some of the best models you can get of a genus. And these are no exception. And they're a really, really welcome addition to the collection because they really are tiny little museum pieces. Let's pop this one off to one side. Got quite a few here. Got a slightly larger one here. This one appears to be fully assembled. I think this is a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yes, it is. Slightly larger than the other one. This is another spectacular king of the tyrant lizards. Painting detail on these are so fine and minute. These are all slightly older restorations, so there's no lips over the teeth. This one appears to have a fuzzy coating as well, only on the upper parts. It's in a very dynamic pose. You could definitely pose this with a Triceratops figure if you had one to scale. See the tiny crest of feathers on the end of the tail there. Absolutely fantastic details. A big quadrifemoralis muscle sculpted in there. Absolutely amazing. Now, who do we have in here? I think this may also be a T-Rex. This one is in pieces. Ooh. Now this is a bit different. This T-Rex is made of kill. So the base for this T-Rex, there's also much brighter colours on this one, is this very unfortunate Saurolophus. And just looking at that bite mark on the neck, I think that should just push fit in there. Yes, it does. That locks in like that. Locates perfectly. Again, you've got the binocular vision on the Rex. Nice bit of gore on your Saurolophus corpse here. And then the tail. This again is a T-Rex in a very active hunting posture. This is a brilliant depiction. Getting fantastic detail on this. Real sense of motion. And the proportions as well, you can see how wide the head is. That is correct. Wide head and the narrow hips. Absolutely brilliant. So we're getting quite a collection here. I do have a few little Kaiyodo figures, largely Tyrannosaurids. Its final bag is a much larger bag, and there appears to be a couple of figures in here, including a very green Triceratops. These figures look to be a little larger. Oh, and I've got a label in here which says Bandai. I don't have any Bandai dinosaurs at all, so this is going to be interesting. Now that is a T-Rex. Again, this appears to be in pieces. So that was the torso, here's the tail, and here we've got the pelvis and the legs. So let's fit this one together. This is a little larger than the Kaiyodos. There we go. Slightly stiffer to fit together as well, but not as stiff as something like the beasts of the Mesozoic. Now that is spectacular. There's fantastic bulk to this T-Rex. Beautiful skin detail. I like the slightly more sort of reptilian studs on the back with this one. And again, that fantastic face. You can see really see the binocular vision. And all the teeth are beautifully painted as well. I wonder if it'll stand alone. And yes, it does. This figure actually stands without its base, but let's have a look and get the base out. So, this does not appear to be the base for the T-Rex. Bandai leaflet there as well. Now that's got theropod footprints on it. There we go. Let's pop that out. So the base has come in a couple of parts. So I've got the sort of wood effect base, and then I've got a more sort of earthy overlay to go on top of that, so you can actually display this as like almost like a little museum piece. It's almost like a little diorama in its own right. And as we can see, the T-Rex stands perfectly well without it, which is very impressive for a figure of this size and only bounced on one foot. It's a slightly softer plastic than the Kaiyodos, but only slightly. And then finally, to accompany this Tyrannosaurus Rex, we've got this absolutely spectacular, very green Triceratops. It's refreshing to see Triceratops depicted in a slightly brighter colour. And all the skin detail there is current and scientific. All these little plate-like studs. And the proportions are phenomenal. This is an absolutely amazing Triceratops figure. It's crocodilian type scales on the underside. The way the horns are formed, it's absolutely stunning. So quite often these little figures are some of the best representatives of dinosaur species that you can get, and all the ones that have been included here are no exception. They're absolutely amazing. So, thank you very much to my channel supporter for all of these figures. They're absolutely glorious, and I'm over the moon with them. And I hope everybody's enjoyed having a little look at them with me, and I shall see you all in the next video. Right, I just thought I'd do a quick video to show you the entire Kaiyodo collection so far. I had a few myself, which you can see here. So I've got this gorgeous little Eutyrannus, and a feathered T-Rex, and more traditionally restored T-Rex, to go with these fantastic T-Rexes here. Here they are all together. This fantastic big Zuul crurivastator and Mipe. Also had this little Stegosaurus for a very long time. This is a really beautiful Stegosaurus. Really are tremendous figures. And these Bandais just crown the lot. I've not opened the base for the Triceratops yet, but you can see how good these two look together. So I hope you've enjoyed having a quick look at both of these with me, and I shall see you in the next video.